Welcome back, friends. It's day 14 of the 28-day Get Hired Challenge. You've made it through the second week. How are we doing? Did you get to all 14 days? Did you do the homework? How's that going? Because we are going to be digging in today to a lot of the work you've already done as far as coming up with that capabilities matrix and that capabilities gap analysis that we talked about last time. Well, now we're going to start talking about how do we fill that gap. And today it starts off with talking about cybersecurity certifications. So let's go. Everybody, Alyssa Miller, and welcome to the 14th installment of the 28-day Get Hired Challenge. We are digging into cybersecurity certifications. This is a topic that gets a lot of attention. Why? Because like 91% of the job descriptions out there in cybersecurity mention at least a preference for a cybersecurity certification. This is also the first place a lot of people go to if they're trying to launch a career in cybersecurity. They look at certifications as a stepping stone or a way to get more education and formal education in cybersecurity. And we've talked in a couple previous episodes a little bit about certifications and their value and what they mean or don't mean in terms of making your job search easier. But we're going to dig into them today because they can help certainly with those job descriptions that say they would like you to have a certification. So we're going to talk about some of them. We're going to talk about pros and cons, and we're also going to talk about just how many is too many. So cybersecurity certifications. There are varying opinions on what these certifications are really for. And quite honestly, when you look at the different certifications, some of them even vary in their approach and what maybe they're intended to provide. Some people will tell you that certifications are just meant to show that you've, completed some level of training, you've gained some knowledge through some training, and you got the certification. And indeed, a lot of certifications are written that way. Others will tell you that certifications are there to demonstrate that you have long-term proficiency in cybersecurity. And we'll look at some of those too, because there are some that are structured that way. And then there's all sorts of things in between. And these, certifications are a sore spot because a lot of job descriptions say they want to have them. They want you to have them, rather. They can be very, very pricey. And they don't always, at the same time that somebody's saying they want you to have one, then they sit there and they say, but yeah, that doesn't really make you an expert or even a practitioner in cybersecurity just because you have one. So it's really convoluted, and it's really frustrating for people like you who are just trying to get a career going in this field. But let's talk about certifications from the standpoint of what ones make sense for somebody who's looking to get into the industry. And then what are some of the ones that people might ask about that maybe don't make sense? So I'm going to start off with, I want to just give you some idea of some of the certifications that are out there. So this is a figure that shows up in the book. And this just lists some of the cybersecurity certifications that are out there and arranges them, as you can see, by the domain or the knowledge area within cybersecurity that they apply to. I've got a column for what are more beginner ones. These are ones that a entry-level or first-time cybersecurity person could get. And then advanced are ones that maybe require a little bit more effort or experience. And then you see I've listed the organizations here. Now, I have to stop right here because if you're looking at that and you've looked at cybersecurity certifications at all, you're going to notice there's a number of different certification organizations that aren't listed there. This is not meant to be in any way, shape, or form comprehensive. One in particular that you'll notice is missing is EC Council. And I'm going to be blunt. The reason that I don't have EC Council listed here is that I personally do not believe in them anymore. I've had multiple run-ins with EC Council where I've had to question their ethics and question their approach to things. This includes catching them plagiarizing my own materials. So for me personally, I don't support them. You may choose to go after one of their certifications. Their certifications are still recognized by the federal government and many organizations, so they may still have value to you. But that's why I don't share them here. So let's get into the ones that are on here. The ones that, for me, I felt were reputable enough to include in the book and are popular enough as well. So when we look at general knowledge, you see these ones at the top. There's really a couple here that if you're a beginner, I think are worth looking at. CompTIA has their Security Plus. This is one that's really well known, and it is definitely geared toward building up just general knowledge for somebody who wants to get into cybersecurity. SANS Institute has the GSEC that is similar, and then you see ISC Squared, who recently came out with the SSCP. So the reason ISC Squared is the SSCP is because you see the CISSP over there to the right. That degree requires 5 years of experience working in cybersecurity. Now that's important because you're going to see CISSP show up on a lot of job descriptions. Understand that as an entry-level person, you can't get that certificate. And if someone's asking for that for an entry-level role, they're not going to get applicants who are entry-level who have that. So understand sometimes you just got to check the box another way. I like the CompTIA in particular because of the three, it is the lowest cost. If you are paying for a certification yourself, that Security Plus from CompTIA is by far the most cost-effective and attainable. So that's one that I typically will recommend to most people. Now, if we move down to penetration testing, you see CompTIA has the Pen Test Plus, and again, they're going to be the most attainable from a cost perspective. Offensive security has a lot of really well-respected certificates, but you need to be really advanced in your pen testing capabilities to achieve one of those. I know very skilled hackers and pen testers who've failed those practical tests multiple times for the offensive security certifications. And then you see SANS again with GPEN and GWAPT. GPEN is for penetration testing. That's more network side. GWAPT is web applications. And then you see they have all sorts of advanced ones as well. My only issue with SANS Institute, they are great. They have phenomenal certifications. They just tend to be very pricey. So for somebody who's got to pay their own way, if you don't have an organization paying for you to get a certification, those are pretty expensive. When it comes to GRC, you see there's not a lot here. ISACA is an organization that I believe in very well. I have a certification. In fact, I have one of the ones in that advanced column. You see the CISM, Certified Information Security Manager. But for someone who's new, the CSXP offers a really good entry-level general knowledge that's really based around GRC and management principles. So one you can definitely look at if that's more the route that you're interested in. If you're into, you really have an interest in governance and risk and compliance, remember we talked about those in previous chapters. Those are ones you can look at because it's a really good certifying authority. I like ISACA. They're fairly reputable, and the certification overall is good. Just be aware, again, with ISACA, things can be a little more pricey. Cloud security is another one that I highly recommend people start looking at. It may not be the first certificate you want to get, however. because it's very specialized. I usually recommend people focus a little bit more on general knowledge, cloud security, that Cloud Plus from CompTIA again, or SANS Institute has their GCSA. Those are both great. And you see ISC Squared has the CCSP. I know I'm throwing out a lot of alphabet soup at you here, but keep these noted. These are all good ones to look at. But again, out of the three, CompTIA is going to be the most attainable cost-wise. ISC Squared, well, that's an advanced one, so you're probably not in your ballpark. And SANS, well, they're very pricey, but they are very, very good certifications with really good training that lead up to them. And then finally, there's ISC Squared and SANS Institute coming with application security. So here's where we're talking about bringing security into the software development life cycles. And you see ISC Squared, the CSSLP, I would tell you is definitely an advanced certificate, not something you're getting as a newbie to the industry. The GWeb is a good one. That's a good, more base knowledge for understanding application security fundamentals. But again, keep in mind, SANS a little more expensive, so a little bit tougher there if you're paying for that certification yourself. So these are just some of the certifications. Like I say, there's lots of others out there. You can find lots of specialized ones from a myriad of different sources, but those tend to be the most popular, both in terms of the certification itself and in terms of the certifying organization. So, CompTIA, SANS, ISC Squared, ISACA, Offensive Security, they are probably what I would consider personally the most reputable in the industry. So now let's talk about why you get a cert. So, like I said, a lot of job descriptions are going to say certifications are required or at least highly preferred. Now, they may list certain ones that they want that they say are preferable, but understand what you're trying to do as a new entrant into cybersecurity is just check a box. Because what happens is a lot of these organizations use what we call an applicant tracking system, or ATS. That's that automated system that takes in your information and it's going to look and see, do you check a certain number of boxes? It's going to try to score you. And by the time a recruiter looks at it, you've already been processed by that system. So if they've said that a certification is required and you don't have one to enter there, that's immediately a box that you failed to check. So it is good to have a certification for that reason. But again, if you're paying for it yourself, you don't want to invest a ton of money into certifications. And that's why I recommend looking for ones that are more cost attainable. And then let's talk about how many. No more than one or two. Remember, again, you're doing this just to check a box. And a lot of people think, well, if I get a bunch of certifications, that's going to make me look really smart, like I did all this training. But honestly, it gets to be counterproductive. After a while, when you have a number of different alphabet soups behind your name, people kind of look at that almost negatively. A lot of hiring managers, in fact, myself included, I'll at least look at it with some skepticism. Because someone who spent that much time getting certifications, I kind of start to wonder, where's their focus? Are they more worried about getting certifications than actual job experience? Are they not sure where they want to be in terms of, what cybersecurity role they're looking to fill, et cetera? It draws up some questions. For me, it's not something I'm going to turn down a candidate for, but it's just one of those things that automatically has me questioning them a bit. And that's the last thing you want to do, is create a reason for someone to be skeptical of you as an applicant. So take all that to heart. These are all really important concepts when it comes to, certifications and looking for that first job. But understand that, again, these are just some of the options you have available to you. But here's what I want you to do, because I want to give away another book today. So I need you to go down in the comments and I need you to let me know what's one certification you either have or one certification that you want to get as you start looking for your cybersecurity job. Let me know in the comments. I'll randomly pick one and you'll win a free copy of the book. Also, just a reminder once again, all this month, 35% off all titles at Manning. If you just go to manning.com and enter the discount code 28day CHL Miller, or just go to that short link you see there, or even simpler still, scan that QR code with your phone. I promise you it's safe because, of course, again, I want you to keep coming back. I want you back here every day for this 28-day challenge because I want to help get you hired in cybersecurity. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow.